Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and today I'm here to review one of my recently completed diamond painting kits called Star Sailor from the Creativity Squirrel. This is a new to me shop. I have unboxed a couple of kits from them and had intended to work on one for quite a while, and as I was doing the 26 for 26 challenge, I knew that this was the time that I wanted to work on this particular kit. So I'm just going to give my overall experience of working on the kit. I have my paper logbook here where I can chat about stats and detailed thoughts and all of that. I'll of course have this linked below if you would like to check them out. I did purchase this kit myself, and I purchased it back in May of 2024, so about 2 years ago, but last I checked it is still available for purchase along with a number of other licensed diamond paintings. So yeah, let's get into it. The Creativity Squirrel, this shop is currently on Etsy, and they are based out of Australia, I believe. So being in the US, there is the international shipping component, but I found the shipping to be, you know, what I would expect from international shipping, and it did ship pretty quickly. This was ready to ship at the time, though she does have some kits that are also a made to order model. So just make sure, like with any small shop, that you're reading the fine print. Read what it says as far as turnaround times and whatnot so you know what to expect. This kit was available in just one size. I think it was only available in the one drill shape, which is with square drills, and it was a bigger project for sure. So let's talk about stats, and I promise I'll get you a better look at the kit and everything as well. So stats wise, if I bookmark, yeah, there we go. My paper logbook, this is just where I track my diamond painting projects that I work on, and I make notes and all that good stuff. This is from Archer and Olive. I often get asked where my logbooks are from, and that's my favorite place to get my logbooks. I like that they have the dot grid and the size and everything. So, Tony Cailao was the artist for this one. It's 63.5 by 79.25 centimeters, which is honestly bigger than I would normally go for my first diamond painting from a new to me shop. But because of like the artwork selection, and I was going for what spoke to me in the options size wise, this was just the one that I ended up working on. So that's fine. 80 colors, square drills. I started this one on April 21st and finished it on May 23rd. It's my 258th finish overall and 18th of this year. This did not take me a month to work on by itself. I participated in the 26 for 26 diamond painting challenge. I actually still am. And in that challenge, the way that I'll have my video on it linked below, it's been put forth by Nicole from Shire Shenanigans. And for me, what this looked like was working on, when it was this kit, 7 whips concurrently, and I would work on them a row at a time. If you've watched some of my recent post reviews, you've heard me mention this, but I would basically do, let's say, a row on this kit and then put it aside and pull out the next diamond painting project in the rotation, do a row on that one, put it aside, pull out the third diamond painting project in the rotation, do a row on that one. You get the idea. So as I was working on multiple different kits at various different size points and whatnot, that's why this one did take a bit over a month from start to finish. I like to rank my kits in terms of confetti and enjoyment, and I also track my drill count. So confetti, in spite of what this might look like here, this was a pretty confetti heavy kit. So I gave this one an 8 out of 10. And enjoyment wise, a 4 out of 10. Thing with enjoyment ratings is, please keep in mind this is extremely subjective. It could change based on what I had for breakfast this morning. If you ask me tomorrow, I might rate it slightly differently. So just know that this is very, very, very subjective and is not like an objective reflection of the kit. And I'm going to try to explain why, for me personally, that enjoyment rating is what it is. And hopefully it will make a little bit of sense to you guys. So because this had so many colors, I did kit up into two Elizabeth Ward storage trays. And the way that the symbols were already a little bit organized by type, like she did all numbers and then letters. So I kept them in DMC order and didn't have too much trouble with it. And I had plenty left over in all of my drill colors. So that was, nice. I never stressed about running out of a drill color. One of the things that I noted was that most of the drill colors were great in terms of quality of their resin squares. I didn't have any problems. There were one or two colors, like one of these pink colors. I want to say it was one of these two, I believe. Maybe it was this one. One of these was a little more trash prone, but if you take a look, like I had plenty left over in all of those colors. So it was fine. I just worked around the drills I didn't want to place. Then we had a bunch of special drills in this one, mostly shades of purple, and then this really pale pink, this 819 AB. And I'll show you where these ended up on the canvas. But those are the drills. Overall, don't really have any complaints at all about the drill quality. And let me tell you what, one of the other whips in this 26 for 26 rotation I have going on, I am so stressed about running out of one of these drill colors. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of a drill color. So having a kit like this in the rotation where I was not stressed about that, I wasn't stressed about the glue, I could read the symbols, like there was a lot that was going for this kit that I appreciated were not frustrations when I went to work on it. It's one of those things that you don't take for granted until you like have problems with another kit. So those were all definitely strengths of this particular kit. Let me show you kind of a bird's eye view look at this kit. And what's interesting is I feel like, especially probably as you're looking at it, we're kind of going through it, it looks like it's a pretty color blocking heavy canvas, wouldn't you say? I mean, and there are areas where there is color blocking for sure. Just for comparison's sake, this is the original artwork, which is it's really cute. Kind of muted in terms of color palette, kind of I'd imagine a tricky color palette to translate to diamond painting form with some of the lighting and stuff that's going on. So you have this, and then this is how it looks in diamond painting form. And I think that the size point is probably about right for this artwork, honestly. I think that especially given my guess at how they approached the rendering, which I think was probably more computer charted, maybe with some hand touch-ups, I think that going with a bigger size was probably the right call. Let me show you up close a few areas like where the ABs are. So there's a few spots you'll notice like when we have lines in the artwork and how they're rendered, there's a lot of times a variety of different colors going on, and sometimes you will see random ABs sprinkled in, like you can see there's a couple of the purple ABs in here. And then we have some areas where there's color blocked ABs, like right here. And the AB charting, I liked parts of it. There's like that dark purple AB, and there were other parts of it I wasn't as crazy about. The alien down here was fun. There's a few ABs in his eyes. One of the things you might notice as you're looking at this, as we're a little up close now, is there's very little gapping, which like, look how clean and tight that drill field is. That is really nice to not be really running into gapping. I will say that in some of the areas where there was color blocking with a couple of particular colors, I know this dark pink one was one of the culprits. It was actually very, very tight, and I found myself needing to, sorry, this is hard to navigate. I keep hitting my recording arm. I was multi-placing in a checkerboard style where basically I would, if I'm on this color, I would place this line, I would skip this column, then I would place this line, skip this column, place this line, and go across that way, and then go back in and fill in a staggered way. And that helped feel like I was able to keep the drills centered and aligned on the grid. And I found myself doing that in a few different colors just to really feel like I wasn't otherwise like running out of space, because if I tried to just color block left to right with no checkerboarding, it was almost like I was having to shove the drills over. They didn't want to fit super well. We have some ABs in the Band-Aid on, a ton of ABs in the Band-Aid on her nose actually, and then some in her eyes. I like the ABs in her eyes. I think those are really nice. The ABs, this is not working. I keep hitting the recording arm. Let me just show you from back here too. I think you can still see it pretty well. I'll just zoom you in. There we go. There's some ABs right here that originally I thought, oh my gosh, is that ABs in her skin tone? But if you look at the original artwork, there's a speck on my fingernail. That's where the light's reflecting off of her helmet. And so I'm okay with the ABs there, knowing that is in the artwork. So that's the idea, is kind of a reflection. I am not a fan of this color down here. I understand the lighting is really tricky. I'm going to pull this back over again. I get it, but I still don't like it, honestly. I think it's too harsh. I think the contrast is too high on it. Even like from a distance, it doesn't really work for me. I think that maybe a slightly subtler color shift like you see up here might have suited it a little bit better. I'm not a render artist. I'm not an expert though, so take that with that huge grain of salt. All I know is that when I look at it, I'm not super crazy about it. Sorry. But that just, I can't, I try not to be dishonest in these reviews and share my genuine opinions, but when we're talking about rendering and how it looks in diamond painting form, please know that these are just my opinions. You could totally look at this and go, no, I love it. And that's fully valid, and I support you in a completely not sarcastic way. So I just am letting you know what my personal thoughts are. Okay. You could see there's lots of confetti in her hair and any of the lines that are in her hair. It's pretty confetti heavy and has some characteristics, again, of what I would expect from a kit that has used some computer charting in here and hasn't necessarily been super touched up or super cleaned up. And what kind of rendering style you prefer is obviously going to be very subjective as well. Full disclosure, I tend towards kits that have a cleaner and crisper rendering style that a person has spent more time on, but that's just me. We did have some color blocking in here. That was nice. I zipped through there. And in these light colors where, yes, you could definitely see some of the lines where, you know, maybe a section ended or where I was multi-placing, I still personally think that the gapping in this is pretty minimal. I would not have wanted this grid to be any tighter, to be completely clear. So anything that you're seeing in here that's like, oh, I can see like little lines, just blame that on me. I just do not think that they should make this drill field any tighter. I feel like that worked. So these little like stickers on the helmets were really cute. There's some ABs in here. There's a few ABs like in her ears, like in the outline. And then up here, there's some ABs sprinkled in here and a little bit in some of the stars. Now, this top section, I'm zooming in even more. Do you see the absolute pure confetti? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna move you over here too. I'll tell you what, this last row, or this top row was the last row that I completed. I just finished it today. This was the last section that I did, was this top corner. Pure confetti. Now, this is, I think that the technique is called, is it dithering? It's a particular kind of color blending technique when you're going from like a gradient from like a lighter color to a darker color, kind of just a color change in general. Some people really, really love it. It's not really for me. It photographs really well. Like the camera lens loves it, but in person, like you can really, really, really see just pure confetti. Now, if you step back to a viewing distance, it's less obvious, and diamond paintings are designed to be looked at from a viewing distance. But to work on, it took a while. It took a long time. But the drills were good, and the drill field was really easy to read. The glue was great, but like I just didn't enjoy as much about working on it, to be honest. And as I was at the end in the home stretch, I was like, oh, I'll be so ready to be done with this confetti, you guys. So I just wanted to show you up close a look at that, and that areas like that are probably what really shifted how I rated the confetti, just because it was the last thing that I worked on. But there was some color blocking for sure. That's why the confetti didn't get rated higher. But even like when there was a line between different color blocked areas, like the line itself would have a lot of confetti. So just trying to give the right sort of confetti scale rating so that you know what to expect going into this kit. For me, a huge factor in how much I enjoy a kit is knowing what to expect. And that may have affected or kind of determine why I rated the enjoyment where I did. Because even when I unboxed this kit and shared it with you guys, which was a couple of years ago, I'll have the unboxing linked below if you are curious to hear my first impressions. I sort of, when I pulled this back out to work on, I remembered thinking that there was going to be more color blocking in it. And when I actually went to work on it, even the areas that I, expected a lot of color blocking down here, I wasn't expecting like the outline or the color transition areas to take me as long as they did, because I just wasn't expecting there to be as much confetti in those spots. So that probably affected why affected my enjoyment and the enjoyment rating that I ended up giving this kit. So I just want to acknowledge that, and maybe if you go into it with different expectations than I did, then that might change it. So I'm over explaining. I know it's a character flaw. I just really wanted to explain why I'm spending a lot of time on this, and as well as why I ranked the enjoyment the way that I did. So overall, let me take a look at my notes one more time to make sure, see if there's anything I missed. So we talked about the render and the color blocking. We talked about a lot of the really good things about this kit, like with the materials. The customer service at this shop is really good. And they have like a nice variety of larger size kits to choose from too. So I feel like you're getting more bang for your buck that way, including like what you spend on shipping. So there is that. I will go ahead and I'm going to insert a picture on the screen now of the whole canvas and frame, since I'm not easily able to fit it for you here like this. So you could take a look at that. Yeah, it is definitely a little bit bigger in person than I feel like the camera really conveys. It's 63.5 by 79.25 centimeters. Like a 60-ish by 80-ish canvas is not tiny. So this was a big one. My overall thoughts. So would I recommend purchasing from the Creativity Squirrel now that I've worked on one of their kits? And I would say yes, with of course the idea that they have what you're looking for. They have licensed artwork. I would also mention that some of their artwork is AI. So if that is something that is important to you to know, this artwork was not AI. I've unboxed one or two other kits here that from them that are not AI, but you could take a look into the artist information if you want to check that for yourselves, just an FYI. And if you were talking about just subjectively the materials, I like the canvas, the glue, the drill field clarity, the drill quality. Those different kinds of things are great. The customer service aspect of things I think is really great. International shipping, depending on where you live, I understand completely, especially a lot of us are on a tight budget right now. That might simply not be in your budget. But if you don't live in the US, maybe this isn't as expensive for you shipping wise. So just something to keep in mind. And then really the most, I feel like, subjective part of this is going to be the rendering. And that's really why I spent a lot of time on it as well, is because I wanted to give you guys a really solid sense of what my experience was like with the charting or the rendering style of the artwork as a diamond painting. Because often, from what you guys have shared with me as well, that is one of the things that matters most to you. And so I wanted you to know kind of what to expect, at least from this kit and my experience working on it. And I'll just leave it up to you to decide if this rendering style is your taste or not. It's totally up to you. So I think that that's really about it, but I would actually really love to hear from you guys in the comments what your thoughts are on this one, seeing it in a video at least, or if you've worked on a kit from this shop before, please feel free to share about your experience in the comments below. I would love to read about it and would find it insightful, and I assume that others watching this video might as well. So feel free to share there if you would like. And like I said, I'll have this shop linked below. You could take a look and see. They also do have some accessories the last time I checked. So if you're looking for something like, I think they have putty and some special drills. If they still carry those, you could also take a look at those as well. So either way, though, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed getting a look at a kit and a review on a kit from a new to me company. And I don't think I've really seen this shop reviewed a lot in the diamond painting YouTube space. So if it's a shop you haven't heard of, then hopefully this was fun to get to hear about a new shop too. But it's something I really try to do here on my channel is unbox and review a variety of different companies. I have a post review playlist that'll be linked below. You could take a look at if you're wanting to see what other shops I've worked on kits from before and my experience with them. And I've recently completed some kits from new to me shops and have more in the works, so stay tuned for even more in the upcoming months. And with that, I'd invite you to subscribe. If you liked this video and want to see more from me, want to see more reviews of other shops, please subscribe. I would love to have you here. I also do weekly Whippet chats if you want some company while you're crafting, along with other diamond painting how-tos and tutorials. It's really all diamond painting all the time here. So either way though, I hope you're doing so very well. Happy crafting, and I will chat with you in the next one. Bye guys.